Good morning. In this video, I'm gonna teach you the 10 cardinal rules of cold calling. Okay, you need to know these 10 if you're ever gonna have any success in the cold call. I've done 100,000 cold calls. I stopped counting in my life. I worked for Grant Cardone's elite sales team. I've been active duty military, successfully selling for my marketing business until I got burnt out by the agency model. And I've also done door-to-door sales for roofing, solar, and I actually got shot at 9 times doing solar. Was one of the most famous door-to-door men for about a month in the world once upon a time. So I know a thing or two about cold calling, and I've learned from the elites of the elites. So I'm going to show you 10 things that I've been taught by them and things that I've implemented throughout my whole career. So let's get started. Right. Number 1, you need to understand the purpose of the call. Okay, that is the first thing. Why am I calling this person? Why am I calling you? What is the purpose? You have to remember, is it to create interest? Is it urgency? Is it a meeting? Is it a close? The purpose of a cold call is to set a meeting. That is the whole purpose of it. You got to know that going in. You have to keep that in the back of your mind. You have to know that and remember that. How are you going to do that? You're going to create interest and urgency, and then you're going to set a meeting from there. Hey, this is Rob. I'm from XYZ. The reason I'm calling is because of XYZ, okay? Does this sound of interest to you, okay? Who am I kidding? The reason you're actually gonna call, if anything, is to close. If you could close, then do that. But when you're calling someone, it's a cold call for the first time and they have no familiarity, or it's a cold lead, or it's a warm lead with almost no knowledge, you need to set a meeting. You're most likely not gonna close them. One call closes have existed. I've done tons of one call closes. I didn't even know those existed before I worked for Grant Cardone, by the way. But that is the purpose of the call. You have to remember that. Number 2, you need to set a meeting from a meeting. Okay, I don't care what they say. Hey, send me an email. They're not going to check that email. You're going to waste your time. Elite sales performers, they understand when something has a low probability of closing. Send me an email. Call me in a month. Why am I calling you in a month? Why am I calling you in a week? Okay, I'm setting a meeting. I'm more apt to blow them out of the water, which means they hang up on me, than not set a meeting. That's what I want to do. Okay, I need to set that meeting by any means. And if they hang up on me, just so you're aware, we're gonna talk about this in number 5. They're not gonna remember you. They could hang up on me, and I could blow them out of the water. I can call them tomorrow. They will not remember who I am, and I could do the whole pitch again, and they could say yes. And I've done that before. Okay. Number 3, you need a hook. I'm going to walk you through a word track that I use and some hooks. A hook and a big claim. There should be big claim written right there as well. All right. So let's say somebody's not wanting to book a meeting. Hey, you know what? You're right. It would be crazy for me to think you'd have any time for a cold call. So let me pause the cold call. What I'm proposing is a conversation either later today or later in the week where I show you how we could add at least $1 million in revenue in the next 3 to 6 months of your business. If even half of that was true, and if you did know what date or time you would have available, what day or time would that be? Boom! Okay? That is a big claim. That's a hook. What was the big claim in the hook? Hey man, I could add $1 million. Can I show you how we help similar businesses add $1 million in revenue in 3 to 6 months? Yeah? Okay. They say, I don't have my calendar. Dude, you're right. You probably thought I was a deal. You don't have your calendar pulled up in front of you, so let's do this. Let me put some tentative time on your calendar, and you always have the right to change your mind. You thinking Tuesday or Wednesday? Hey, call me back, okay? Sir, I'm with you, but listen, it is my duty, obligation, and responsibility to make sure you know about this. Not for you, but for your people. What you're doing to me right now, John, is exactly what people do to your salespeople every day, and to you. Call me back, send me an email. So John, you're not gonna have respect for me unless we lock in a day or time, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Is tomorrow work for you? Okay. Is there any reason you wouldn't make this call short of a zombie apocalypse? I'm locking in, right? Is there anyone else that is in charge of decision making that needs to be on the call? Okay, John, just so I'm better prepared for our call, what's the biggest challenge y'all are currently facing? So what I'm doing there is, if somebody is objecting to a meeting, I'm going back into the script. I'm leaning in. These are a couple word tracks you can copy, so that way you can get the meeting and you don't get phased out. Number 4, Know when to cut your losses, okay? If you get on the call with someone and they're like, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Look, just send me an email on it, okay? You set a meeting that's in 1 or 2 days, and they're like, yeah, I guess I could show up to that. Sounds kind of interesting. That's not a meeting. That's not a meeting. If they sound if you did everything, you did a big hook, you did a big claim, you create interest, urgency, you tried everything, and they're still getting very low interest. You need to understand that they're not going to show up to that meeting. They're not going to look at that email. You are wasting your time following up when you can follow up on other people that actually need the product. People need your product. If you're selling something, you better believe that what you're doing can actually help somebody. So that's what you got to remember. And that's how you stay out of your head, right? Which is the next one. So know when to cut your losses if somebody is not going to buy. Not going to check your email. Number 5. You need to stay out of your head. So we're going back up here. Listen, you need to keep certain things in your mind. There's tons of things you can tell yourself. There's tons of mental tricks. If someone hangs up on you have all kinds of little games and things you could play. Okay, look, hey, like you could play games. I'm going to see how many no's I can get today. Dude, I got another no. Yeah, you could be with your coworker. Dude, high five, bro. I got a no. Look at that, man. Dude, we used to at Cardone, at Grand Cardone, we used to blow people out of the water and they would hang up on us. Ethically, we were pleasantly persistent, and they would hang up and be like, dude, you did it, high five, because you're motivating yourself to do the hard thing that 99% of salespeople are not willing to do. Now, this is a cold call. This is not a closing call. That's something entirely different, okay? But you need to stay out of your head by any means. Tell yourself things. Write down your goals in your journal while you're calling. That's what I would do. I would have a journal in front of me. I'd be writing down my values. I'm going to have a big yacht. I have a wife and 10 kids, 3 kids, or whatever's motivating you. I'm crazy. I want 10 kids, okay? I'd be writing down, like, anything I could think of. I'd be playing random games. Hey, let's see how fast I can get to 100 calls, regardless of the outcome. All right. Number 6. I need control. That's potentially the most important thing on the call. I need control. I need control of the call. Even when I'm allowing them to think that they have control, I need control. If they have control, they dictate the call. They could hang up. They could say, I'm not interested. I need to maintain authority and I get control. The way that you do that is you ask questions. All right? He who is asking questions is in control. When they start asking you questions, what you do is you say that you agree. That's the first thing you do. Hey, that's an amazing question. I appreciate that. Maybe a 2, 3, 4 second response, and then you ask another question. Okay? He who asks the questions is in control. I need control. I get control by asking questions. Number 7. Okay? Positive attitude. I need to be positive. I understand that you're listening to a cold call video about positive attitude, and it's the last thing you want to hear, but it is so important, okay? The reason why you need to understand is because why do people buy? Why are people buying at the end of the day, okay? I will tell you that the best product does not get sold, the best marketed product gets sold. People spend most of their money on what? Nicotine, fast food. You can see food places everywhere you go. Why are people buying that and they're not paying for a gym membership? Why are they doing that when they could be paying for a healthy meal? Why are people spending so much money on firearms, nicotine, alcohol, drugs, gambling, sports bets, love of any means, whatever they're spending money? I don't even know anymore. OnlyFans? Look, it's because it makes them feel good. When you call, it doesn't matter if you just have a good product. People are buying you. They're buying your positive attitude. That's exactly what they're buying at the end of the day. So you have to understand that. You have to know that. And you have to understand that is probably the most important part of the call. Okay? I know I said that about almost every single one of them. I'm going to keep saying it. But you have to keep a positive attitude. Okay? Don't mistake that for being fake. When you call somebody, you want to get right down to business. Hey, John. John, this is Robert. Reason for the call. This is why I'm calling. I'm not asking you how your day is. I don't give a heck how your day is. And you don't give a crap about how my day is. But you need to have a positive attitude. Don't mistake that for fakeness. But you got to fake it a little bit. You do. If you just got a terrible call that, oh my God, mama died, oh my God, like something bad happened, you got to take that, you got to shove it way You gotta show it way down. You have to keep a positive attitude. Okay. Number 8, you have to do the math. You have to know your numbers. That's probably the most important part. Like I said about every single other one. But I hate to break it to you, sales is math. Sales is math. I'm sorry, but it is math. You have to know your numbers. And what that does is allows you to have a feedback loop, and it allows you to know exactly where you need to correct yourself. This is how you do self-improvement, and this is how you add a layer of predictability, okay? It stops, if I'm on a coaching call with somebody or I'm helping out a buddy of mine, it stops those really silly comments that they say, like, man, dude, the leads are bad. Or like, dude, I'm not closing enough. It's because I suck in the close. I'm terrible in the close. And then you can look at their numbers, okay? Bear with me now in the math part. I know it gets kind of nerdy. Let's say, okay, I'm looking at your numbers. Okay, great, let's see. You've done 100 calls. You have a 50% set rate for our product, and then you have a 50% close rate. Let me see. And also you have a 10% pickup rate. So let's say that you have, so this is how you add the layers of predictability, right? And it stops all those silly things, like I said, of like, dude, the leads are bad. You know, I just suck in the close. I need to get better at closing. Because then I can get on a call with someone and say, okay, let's look at your numbers. Actually, if we look at your closing rate, you're doing amazing. You're closing 50% of your demos, which is astronomical. That's well above industry average for sales. So let's look at your numbers. Okay, let's see. You made 100 calls this week. You have which is extremely low, I think, for like anywhere. We have a 10% pickup rate in the company, which means if I call 100 people, only 10% of people are going to pick up, and then out of those, half of those are going to be set. So far, the numbers we're looking at: 100 calls, 10 people picked up. I'm setting half of those, so I got 5 meetings. I got 5 sets. All right. Let's say about half of those no-show. Right? That's really bad. You need to talk about that. But that means 2 or 3 people are going to show up to a meeting, right? Now you have a 50% closing rate. So I'm closing 1, 2, or 3 people. I'm sorry, that's 1 or 2 people, because you have a 50% closing rate for the 2 or 3 demos. Your commission is $500. You're making 1 close a week or 2. How much is that? That's $2,000 a month. I make more money at McDonald's. Okay? What did we figure out from this individual from look at the math? You got to pick up that phone, bro. You got to pick up that phone. You got to make those dials. We figured out your problem. You're just not doing enough activity, you know? And if we go in there, and we could also go and we could find out, hey, you have a really high no-show rate. Why are they no-showing? Let's go back and let's listen to the call, and we'll find out exactly what you're saying in the last few minutes that's making them no-show. Are you locking them down? Are you saying, is there any reason you'd miss that meeting? Are you making sure they add it to their Google Calendar before you get off? Are you making sure they watch a VSL, video sales letter, a video, to create more interest before the call? Are you leaving a big hook, right? Or do you have a positive attitude? And when you do that, you got a layer of predictability, okay? Next, 100% certainty. 100%. I could do anything on a call. I could stutter. I could say the wrong thing. I could say something that sounds silly. I could swear. You shouldn't swear on a call, obviously. But as long as you have 100% certainty, you're fine. You're fine. That is the most important thing, okay? 100% certainty. What does that sound like? Downward inflections. Downward inflections, and you need to be confident in the product. If you're not selling a product that you're confident in, go sell something else. Sell something you believe in. Do not be a mercenary. Do not be a mercenary. Do not be a mercenary. Mercenary salespeople do not last. All right? And it is not something that's fun. You're going to burn out because you don't like the product. You need to resell yourself on the product. That's great. That's something I have to do. I have to do that every day. I have to do it all the time. Who are we helping? Let's look at the testimonials. I need to watch this testimonial. Okay? Let me figure out, like, what can I help people? Can I deliver? Oh, I can deliver? I have past proof of me delivering? Dude, I can help you out. I know we can do this. I know we can add $1 million in your business in 3-6 months because we did it for 4 other people, because we did it for 7 other people in your exact niche, for your exact business. All right? Number 10, you need to make the call. You need to make the call. I don't care how many sales books you read. I don't care how many times you watch this video. I don't care what you do. You can read 100 cold calling books back to back. All of them is going to fly out the window as soon as you make that call. That's something I learned from Hormozi, by the way. He told that. He's like, dude, I don't care if you read 100 books. And it is so true, because Grant Cardone taught us that as well. You need to make the call. What did I tell you? Did I say that you need to edit the script to get the call perfect? Did I say that you need to make sure you're seated at your desk and your paper's on the left, you got your notes on the right, and your script is right there, and you got your notes right here? No! I said you need to make the call, okay? I'll make a call before I even pull up the script. I'll make the call before, and that's a cardinal rule too, probably. Should be. Have the script in front of you. Always use a script. You know? You should always use a script, by the way. But it's the number one thing. It does not matter anything else I'm doing. So that is all the rules. You need to make the call. This is going to be a part of a cold calling series, by the way. So these are just the 10 cardinal rules. If you think that this was very valuable, which I really hope you do, you need to watch this video as well. And I'm going to put it right up here, okay? I don't know where it's going to be, but you need to click that as well in order to get the full value. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.